Have you ever sent N to the wrong person? Story 1. Happened with one of my exes. She got a new phone and was updating her contacts. She chose my D pic as her temporary profile pic for when I called. I was at work while she was getting her gallbladder taken out. Started to worry because she should have been in post-op and almost discharged by then. So I kept calling and it would ring twice, then straight to voicemail. Redial. Ring once, straight to voicemail. Redial 2 more times, straight to voicemail. Turns out her mom had her belongings and my angry boner kept saying hello, up close and personal, over and over. Family dinners were awkward for a while after that. Story 2. I was meaning to text my boyfriend the picture, but must have still been in the iMessage chat to my dad at the time, and sent it without checking. Seeing that the nude had been texted to my dad, I immediately called him. I was going to ask him to delete the pictures, and that they were inappropriate and were supposed to go to my boyfriend. That way he wouldn't see the images themselves, he would just know I had taken nudes. Somehow, by the grace of God, my sister answered his phone, as she was living at home at the time. I begged her for help, and she was able to delete the images off his phone. My dad never knew the incident ever occurred. I asked my sister how I could repay her, and she asked me to never ever bring it up again. I owe her one, eternally. Story 3. I did once some years back. IF sent a snap to F coworker. I had absolutely no idea until I got a snap from her telling me I looked nice and asked if she was supposed to return the favor. Told her it was completely up to her, but it was an accident. She sent me one back anyways. We left it at that, and we would bring it up every once in a while and just giggle about it. Haven't seen her since I left that job, but this question definitely brought this memory back, lol. Story 4. A couple of years ago, my actual girlfriend was on vacation with her family and sent a picture of her naked to my sister, instead of me, by mistake. I remember I was at a friend's party and suddenly received a text from my sister saying she had finally gathered the courage to tell me she was sorry for secretly having sex with my GF for a while and that she had taken a picture for proof, attaching it to the message. I was slightly stoned but enough to believe to everything, for hours, until I realized the picture was a selfie taken in front of a mirror. Story 5. Firstly, my friend and his now wife had problems in their relationship because she was sick. She broke up with him because she didn't want him to get involved. He is one of the nicest guys I know, and if she died, she didn't want him to be crushed. They had like a long talk before breaking up. After getting back together, he basically went with her for every doctor's appointment, worked really hard to support her, and when she was off chemo, they got married. After going on a date, the date asked him to send her a couple of nudes. She vocalized she likes big dickies. To see if he was big. The pics weren't on the same day. He found out after he accidentally sent the pic to X. And thought she not responding to it was weird. He didn't know at the time, plus her asking for it. Another thing to note, the girl he went on a date with claimed she was a virgin and would only save herself for after marriage. He found out a few days later, after sending pic, that she was basically sleeping around with other dudes, some before meeting him, and 2 dudes before going on a date with him that night. So to you guys who think I'm shaming her, I'm kindly not. I'm just telling the story as it is. Finally, for the one guy who said I should continue my numbering. Story 6. My high school boyfriend's best friend sent me a dick pic. He was a great guy, so I was horrified and I just sent back, WTF. He apologized profusely and said another girl whose name started with my same letter was supposed to get it, but he hit my contact instead. I didn't tell my BF for ages because I was so weirded out, and when I finally did, he was like, "Yeah, I know, my friend told me immediately after it happened. I was just waiting to see how long it took you to tell me." So, kinda funny? Story 7. I had 2 name redacteds and my phone didn't have last names added. One was a love interest, the other was a good friend. Was a bit tipsy and just kind of clicked and went for it, picked the wrong one. Got some fantastic feedback, but they have never let me live it down to this day. It's been 2 years expressionless face. Story 8. My bestie is a chick. She was dating a guy who had the same name as me. She came home blind drunk one night, while her partner was intestate with work, and sent me the nude that was meant for him. We are pretty tight, and before I could reply with nice, she messaged me via text saying, "Fuck, sorry man, but if it's anyone seeing me without my gear on, I'm glad it's you." I was touched that she was so cool with it, so I wrote back, "Nice tits mate, we still laugh about it today." Story 9. I accidentally posted a video of me masturbating and moaning to my Snapchat story at 3 a.m. instead of to just the one person I was sexting. For some reason, one of my friends was awake at that time besides the person I was sexting, and they saw it. "You are disgusting," she told me, and then removed me from Snapchat. Luckily, this was after we worked together, but I feel like most people would understand that it was not on purpose. I promptly removed it from my story after she messaged me. Unfortunately for the person I was sexting, I was too embarrassed to do any more sexting that night after that. Story 10. This was when email was still fairly new. I sent it to a guy friend. He saw immediately what had happened. I was dating a mutual friend with the same first name as him, and what I wrote with the picture made it clear. He quickly deleted it, and then sent me a note telling me what had happened. Not that I ever mind naked pictures, but wink emoji. So, everything was good, except it wasn't, it was horrible. Because he didn't send me that note, he sent it to a business acquaintance with the same first name as me. Ended up being much worse for him. I ended up calling her. Story 11. Not quite a nude, but my mother, in her early 60s, took a selfie of herself in a French-maid outfit, which was an apron and nothing else except her waving around a feather duster. She meant to send it to Al, her husband, but accidentally sent it to all. Including my husband, myself, our daughters, my in-laws, and every single person in her extensive contact list. My husband, who has played lawn bowls since he was 19, rang and said, "WTF has your mother done?" I had no idea, as I don't bother much with my phone. He said he was at afternoon tea when this photo of her in a fucking apron and feather duster arrived. I said, "I'm really sorry, I'll call her." He said, "Forget it. All the old blokes at the Bowls Club want her number." Story 12. Not a nude, but I accidentally sent a very explicit sext paragraph to one of my close girlfriends instead of my partner before Snapchat had the ability to delete messages. So I was forced to just let it happen. I sat with a pounding heart after spam texting not to read it, and just swipe out. She read it. And then told me improvements I can make on my wording. Tried my best to awkwardly laugh it off, BC she'd gaff, but God was it embarrassing. Story 13. I was laughed at and applauded at the same time. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever experienced. Sure, I do okay, but I don't want the world seeing or knowing. All because a fling back in the day asked for a picture. Phone locks weren't a thing back then. So my friends at the time literally sent my forgotten pic to everyone on my phone while I was walking another friend home after a fun night of drinking. I'm not small nor huge, but large enough to catch attention. And it did. From everyone. I had 200-ish people on my phone. And my friends sent the photo to everyone, including people on their phone and MySpace accounts. Needless to say, I'm not friends with them anymore. And I almost got petty charges. My dick pic was sent to my sisters, 15/17 at the time, mom, dad, etc. I hated my life for a long time. Story 14. When Snapchat first came out, I attempted to send one to my BF, but ended up posting it on my story. Within 3 minutes, it was screenshotted 10+ times, and sent around to older seniors/college guys. Forgot the 3-syllable name of the detectives, but they showed up to my house to tell me and my mother they were posted online by older men who knew old how I was. Extremely embarrassing for a 15 years old, to say the least. Another time, I was surrounded in the lunch line by seniors, as a freshman, who kept grabbing my ass/vagina while surrounding me in a circle at lunchtime, and one took my phone. I started school a year earlier, so I turned 14 a day before freshman year and developed a body/big butt at an early age, so it was hell freshman year. These guys were 18 to 19. Anyway, he ran away with it, and I ran after him into his classroom while the teacher made me leave without retrieving my stolen phone. I finally got it back, But not before he sent the personal photos to the football team. No school officials ever intervened, and I thought it was normal, jock behavior. Said guy ended up brutally raping his girlfriend a year later. I realize how fucked up the situation was now, as my niece is almost 13.